Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam to all the viewers that are logging in right now. We have the live darshan of Swamiji today. We are going to be having the special live Nithyananda Satsang today. I know all of us are delighted, excited, and waiting for having the live darshan of Swamiji. Just take a moment now and go and share this video to all your friends, family, even the Sangha members. Share it with everyone and let them know that very shortly the live Nithyananda Satsang is beginning. I'm so excited. We all are waiting for the darshan of Swamiji. And let's understand why we have to be in listening, or how this Nithyananda Satsang can transform our life. Did you all know that your words are extremely powerful? Did you know that the words that you are cherishing inside of you, what are you holding inside of you, is so powerful?
And today, most importantly, we're all going to be learning about how your inner space has the ability to influence anything on the outside. Your thoughts can influence the reality in front of you. And why are we talking about this today? Because Nithyananda Satsang is one of the most powerful ways that you can shape your inner space, that you can sculpt your consciousness in the way that you want. You can create the reality in front of you exactly as you desire. So what we are going to be learning today, what we are going to be preparing ourselves with for the Nithyananda Satsang is going to be something very special. And all those that are watching us live at this moment, please comment down below and let us know which place you are watching us live from. And where you joining us from, please let us know and be tuned in till the end, because today we're going to be learning something profound. Do you know your words, the words that you utter to yourself, the words that you utter to others, your words has the power to influence the external space, the space on the outside. Not just your words, there's something more subtler than that. Every thought that you have has the ability to shape your reality in front of you. Excuse me, sorry. There's a scientific study that was done wherein it establishes how the human emotions impact us so much so that even the human DNA can be reprogrammed through our emotions.
And we call this field of study as epigenetics. And how many of you have seen even in your own life that what kind of words you are carrying inside of you are actually affecting you?
This study by these scientists has established phenomenally about how every emotion that we carry, whether you carry love, you carry hatred, you carry anger, you carry jealousy, you carry joy, the emotions that you carry has the ability to consciously influence your DNA. That is why many of the times that our immune system and even the way, a better example would be how people walk out of chronic diseases, deadly diseases, incurable long-term diseases, hereditary and genetic diseases, all these diseases which need long-term drug therapies, even from those kind of diseases, people literally walk out. Why? Because their conscious decision or the emotions that they have in their body has the ability to influence their DNA, reprogram their DNA.
And all of us carry something called as the inner space, meaning the space inside of you. If you close your eyes, what you are seeing, that's the inner space you carry. It's made up of these thoughts, it's made up of these words that all of us carry. The words you carry, the words I carry, each thing that we listen to externally, the words that we cherish internally. And these come to us in the form of thoughts. These thoughts are extremely powerful. Swamiji actually says that thoughts are more infectious than flu. If you try to protect yourself so much from flu, then think how much you need to protect yourself from somebody's thoughts. Or can these thoughts actually affect you? Let's listen to a very small clipping from Swamiji.
We are constantly suffering with 120-degree vision, not only in the outer world, even in your inner space. You are not clear about things because before you see them, thoughts are there. The moment thoughts rise, vision is distorted, completely distorted. You don't see things as they are. You don't experience things as they are. Let you be very clear, your mind is so powerful, your thoughts are so powerful, anything can be distorted into anything. You can see in your own life, the moment you lose faith on somebody, the moment the trust is lost, anything will be twisted to anything. Even simple things can be twisted into different way. As long as you have trust, you have faith, even bad things you will start justifying. You will judge as something right. When you don't have that trust, when you don't have that faith, even good things you will start judging in a bad way. Your inner space will not be able to experience anything straight. You will not be able to relate with anything directly.
The ability to impact, influence the external space around us. Many times, most of us very casually utter words. We talk, we say different types of statements. We say, life is horrible, life is hell, I don't want this, I don't want that. Please understand, every time you utter these statements, you are making an impact in your system physically to an extent that even your DNA can get reprogrammed or programmed based on this.
I just wanted to ask you all a question. Now, how many of you have experienced that sometimes when you are having some kind of a negative thoughts and somebody else comes and talks positively to you? Let's say you're at a very, very low point in your life, and the words that are going inside are like, you're a loser, you're doing this, and all bad things are happening to you. You have all kinds of these kinds of words that's going on inside of you. And all of a sudden, you have this one friend of yours who comes, who encourages you, who says to you that, look, you can actually do, it's not everything is over. You can actually do things. Don't give up on yourself. And you suddenly feel that there's a new energy that's coming inside of you. How many of you have experienced this? Or you're feeling completely broken inside you, and you just open YouTube and then you see Swamiji Satsang coming up, and you suddenly feel a surge of energy that's happening inside of you. Suddenly you feel a huge positive breakthrough happening to you. How many of you have had such experiences in your life? Please take a moment and comment in the comment section. Understand, if you have had that experience, or even you going and talking positively to someone, and it is making a shift in them, understand it is because there is a power to the words that you carry inside you and the words that you hear from externally. These can literally code your inner space. They can literally transform or completely put yourself down in your inner space. These words, these thoughts are so powerful. Each and every thought that we carry is so powerful. I request all of you that are here with us, just take a moment now and post in the comment section any one such experience that you are able to identify with, where you hear a particular word or you are in the company of a very positive person. I mean, this is literally all of our experiences. I just want each of you to just take a moment and just look at it. If you feel that, yes, something like that has impacted you in your inner space positively, then understand it is nothing but the words by themselves are so powerful. And a scientist by the name Dr. Emoto had done a research on this, where he crystallizes water that are exposed to different types of sounds. And the results are fascinating. We just listen to how just these few words could create such a big impact. Did you realize that 70% of our body is made up of water? And it's not just the words that are uttered alone, it's not just some vibrations that are creating this. Your thoughts, meaning the words that you're not physically uttering, but you're just having them inside you, verbalizing inside you. Even those thoughts, those words are so powerful. When you go on telling yourself that you can do this, you can do this, you suddenly see that there's a huge positive impact on you. And at the same time, when you start cherishing some kind of a negative word inside of you, you do see there is a negative impact. So, are these words so powerful? And does what we listen to actually impact us? Understand? Words are literally, Swamiji says, you are nothing but just a bunch of words that you carry internally and you utter externally. Because these words can design the very shape of your life. These words can give you the taste of your life. They can decide what kind of an experience that you need to have.
And please understand, this is one of the biggest resource that we really need to know how to harness, how to use it. Because all of us have thoughts, we have uncontrollable thoughts, right? But what are the use of these thoughts? Does this thought really have some weight in reality? The thoughts happen in your space. The space that you carry inside of you generates thoughts. Whether you feel happy, you have thoughts of joy generated in your inner space. You feel sad, you have thoughts of sadness generated in your inner space. Your inner space has the power to just generate the reality. Swamiji very powerfully tells, whatever you believe in your inner space becomes reality. So, what kind of thoughts, words do you entertain in your inner space? Please understand, when we say words, we do not just mean the words that you utter. For example, let's say you meet your friend and you're talking something, and your friend says something you don't like. Outside, even though you may be very smiling and you may put up a different face, but what exactly runs in your inner space, that has a huge impact. Please understand, the words that run in your inner space is what is going to generate the reality. So, what is space? Space is that gap between one thought to another. Space is the moment you close your eyes, what exists inside of you is your inner space. Now, why are we talking about space? Understand, as long as you let the thoughts, the words in you linger unconsciously in your inner space, every conflict in life that you are creating, every problems in life that you are creating is because of that. Ma Divyananda has posted, yes, words are powerful. Absolutely, Ma. That is why every time we give a word, every time we give a word to ourselves or we give a word to others, every time we do it, it has a phenomenal impact on the reality in front of us. If you declare, I am going to manifest the space of Paramashivoham, which means I'm not going to react for anything. No matter what happens, I am not going to be reacting for things. Understand, your inner space has the power to generate that also as reality. So everything that we do has a phenomenal impact in the nature in front of us. Swamiji says that even if you create your, even if you utter words, which very casually that many of us do, we influence the reality in front of us. Your mind is the mirror which constantly reflects reality. And the moment you are unconscious about it, you go on creating a chaotic reality in front of you. And that is a cycle that most of us are stuck in. So, to understand this, what does our thoughts really do? Having thoughts, is it really good for us? What can the thoughts do to us? If I am unconsciously thinking so much, does it have such an impact on me, on my life, or the reality in front of me? Let us listen to a very quick, short video where Swamiji is going to explain to us the impact of what thoughts do to our inner space. Because every time you have a thought, what exactly happens in your inner space? How does your inner space respond to it? Understand, your thoughts distort your vision. Your thoughts does not let you cherish or does not let you create the reality that you want in front of you.
Liberated means not suppressing. Be very clear. I have seen people who suppress, how much they suffer. At least if you express, you will not carry that in you. You will not carry that smell in you. But if you suppress, you will be constantly carrying that smell, the dirty smell in you. I have seen people, if you express your anger, at least you will be angry with that person, straight over. If you suppress the anger, you will be banging the door, throwing the shoes, and shouting at people for no reason. Be very clear, suppression creates more problems. If you suppress, your whole body language will change. Your whole body language will change. Suppression is no way going to help you. Suppression is not going to solve the problem.
Every thought that we carry inside of us, right? Whenever you generate it unconsciously, whenever you let the thought come and go as you want, the thought becomes your belief, and that belief generates as reality. That is why for most of us today that are living in this world, we have so many uncontrollable, unconscious thoughts that keeps interfering with our reality continuously. We end up living in a confused existence. We end up living in a very chaotic manner. But if this becomes your thinking pattern, for example, if you playfully develop a thought that, I don't really like to interact with people. Let's say just randomly you picked it up from somewhere. But the more and more you keep cherishing that thought becomes a thought current, and that becomes a part of your cognition, which means it becomes a belief. Anything that you believe in your inner space becomes a reality. There are so many such unconscious beliefs that we create in ourselves, which constantly gives birth to reality.
And understand, why do we need to understand or like even look into our inner space? Let's understand that more. Do you know that everything that you experience in your life, starting from your inner space, the whole experience you're having, the great breakthroughs you're having, the failures you're having, the powerfulness you have, the powerlessness you have, the love you receive, the hate you receive, all of these are starting from your inner space. Yes, your inner space is responsible for all of that. So much. It's so powerful that it is literally creating the entire universe for you. Understand, the whole cosmos is a big tathastha. Whatever you are cherishing in your inner space, it goes on becoming a reality, becoming a reality, becoming a reality. For example, you say, I am going to be wealthy. Cosmos says, Tathastu. I am a powerful person. Tathastu. Tathastu means so be it. Constantly, the cosmos showers its blessings on you. So that is why it's very important for you to have enough of intelligence. I mean, you investing enough of intelligent time to clean your inner space, to build your inner space. You need to put little intelligence, time, and energy in creating the right space in you, because that can transform, literally rewrite your very future. See, at least when you're in your dream state in the night, you can say you're unconscious. But here, you're consciously creating the space. Here you are, every moment you are dictating what needs to happen. You need to work and create the right space till you experience that space in your reality and in your dream. Understand, actually, when you're unconscious in your dream, that can very clearly show to you what kind of a space you are in, because that's literally whatever is in your space is only manifesting for you. So when you're conscious and you work on creating the right space, it can even transform your very dream itself. Whether you have some great reality that you want to manifest, whether the reality of being enlightened, or you want to manifest the reality of being extremely wealthy, or you want to manifest the reality of having a successful relationship, everything starts from your inner space.
So what can you do? How do you take responsibility for your inner space? Because you can't let your thoughts randomly come and go. We have no control over our thoughts, right? So suddenly, let's say you're walking on the road, you see a dog, and suddenly that dog reminds you of your friend's pet, and then you remember your friend, and then you remember a maths, your school teacher, along with whom you and your friend study. Your thought goes from one to another, one to another, and one to another, completely unconnected, unrelated. This is what we call as the inner chatter in us. All of us are so busy, we constantly carry this inner chatter in us. And every moment that we interact with life, that we engage with life, we only speak or we do not even listen to what life is presenting to us because we're so busy with what our inner chatter, what is going on inside of us. We barely let our listening, ourselves to listen to what life is talking to us, right? Now, what can we do? How can you take responsibility for your thinking? What do you need to do for you to change your thinking? How you can take responsibility for your thinking? Let us listen to Swamiji revealing to us about what is that secret that you need to do for you to take responsibility for your thinking. Why should you take responsibility for your thinking?
It is extremely beautiful, sweet realization. Whenever you understand, I have seen in my disciples, when they understand your biology, body thinks, they become responsible for their thinking. Whenever you think, your mind thinks, you think, oh, somebody else, not me. Because you feel more grounded with your biology than your mind and other components. Listen carefully. One important dirty secret is you start thinking before even knowing how you think. You start thinking without even knowing how you think. You start thinking without even knowing how to stop thinking. These three are the dirty secrets. You start thinking before even knowing how to think. You start thinking before even stopping how to think. And you start thinking without even knowing how to think. Without knowing, before knowing, without knowing how to stop. All these three is responsible, sure shot, sure recipe for destruction.
Yes. So now we understood how, see, when we are thinking, when we are having some thoughts, it is not just our mind that is thinking. It is our entire biology that thinks. When we are thinking, it's a whole biology, a whole body that is thinking. Meaning everything is getting affected for us. Do you know even your thoughts affect the way you look, the way you carry yourself, your body language, everything. Now, what affects our thoughts? What are these things that actually are, let's say, the building blocks of our thoughts? It is the words that we hear, the words that we cherish. Even the words that we cherish are starting from the words that we listen to. Once these words that we start listening to more and more, and then we start picking and choosing, then we start having a particular emotion that we attach to a particular word. And these emotions with that particular word are starting to get cherished in our inner space. Are you all related to what I'm saying? Like, for example, now let me say that if somebody calls you as a dolphin, you're not going to get affected by that, right? But if the same thing, let's say you've been bullied in a young age, being called, let's say, as a monkey, and you feel offended by it. So if someone now calls you as a monkey, you do feel offended by it. Like you have certain association to these words that you carry in your inner space, and the kind of emotions that you associate with them. These actually dictate how you are going to experience your life, because you are now going to put that as a lens and you're going to see through that. Many times it's not exactly what the other person is saying. It's not that the other person is hurting you, but it's because you are allowing the other person to hurt you. The words that you hear, the words that you start cognizing matter a lot. Now, is there a way that we can cleanse our space, probably like detox our inner space? Is there a possibility for it? The answer is yes. Your inner space can be completely purified. You can detox your inner space just by changing your cognitions, transforming your cognitions. Knowing that, see, now, for example, when you know that certain foods affect your body, what do? Start eating healthy, eating cleaner. You take some steps to be more conscious of what you eat, what is entering your body, and you read the labels 3 times, 4 times before you buy a product. Am I right? This is how we all are with our body when it comes to the food that we put inside our body. Now, this food is not just the food that you eat, it is whatever is entering inside your body. All those things matter, which include what kind of things that you are listening to. Because things that you listen to are becoming a part of you. Understand? Okay, I see a comment from Nithyananda. She's posted, yes, if I'm offended, a part of me must be believing it is true, or having some emotion associated with what is said. That is so true, Madhyavananda. That's what I had mentioned, right? Like every thought that we carry, sometimes due to our past experiences, we associate a certain pain, certain suffering, certain emotion to a particular word. And we go on carrying this word inside us. And many times we start believing that to be true. So when a person is using a particular word on us, they're not hurting us, but they're just touching. It's like you have a pus wound and you're covering it. Just somebody touches that, you're going to feel the pain of it because you are already carrying that wound. If the pus is not there, somebody's touching the same place, you're not going to feel the pain. Now, it is very important for us to first be aware of what kind of words we are allowing inside us. Second, the existing inner space, whatever is there, can be purified. Now, there are two ways that you could do this. One, you doing very, very, very powerful process called as completion, where you sit and relive and relieve your past pains, past sufferings, a very powerful process. And if you're new to this channel, do take a moment now and check out the channel. Just go and type the word completion and you will see the humongous amount of satsangs where Swamiji has revealed this in detail, in depth, addressing every aspect of your life. So if you have a few minutes, just go and check out on that. If you are here for the first time and you want to just just be here, listen to this, and you also want to experience that shift in your inner space, just stay tuned because we are going to be entering into a very, very, very powerful process, which is listening to the Nithyananda Satsang, where Swamiji is going to be decoding some of the most extraordinarily powerful truths. Now, how does this affect our inner space? Did you know that just by intensely having listening, just by you having listening, your inner space can be purified?
And all the viewers that are watching us live right now, let's all do a quick activity before we are discussing further on how we can get to this authentic listening. Okay, so I request every one of you to please take a piece of paper and pen if you have. Even if not, it's okay. You can just type it out on your phone. Let's take exactly 1 minute from now. What you're going to do is going to be very simple. In this next 1 minute, please just close your eyes. You can even keep your eyes open. That does not matter. But you're just going to constantly write down whatever is happening inside of you. Like, for example, let's say if I just let you sit as you are, what are the thoughts that are coming inside of you? Can each of you take a few minutes to just write down? Exactly just 1 minute. Just for this 1 minute note and keep writing down. Okay, suddenly let's say you remember about what breakfast you had today. Or then you're like, okay, when will Swamiji come? Or you were thinking, okay, can I drink water now or not? Or it's very hot. It could be anything. All the thoughts that are coming into you, please write it down. Just 1 minute and a quick activity to do. And all those who are doing, once you finish your activity, you can post done here. All the viewers that are watching us, there are a lot of you that are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and various other social media platforms. So we like to request every one of you to please share with us if you have.
You don't need, and you don't need to actually write to us saying what are the thoughts. You can just put done. Okay. Now let's start. I think the time starts now. Exactly 1 minute. Whatever is coming, start writing it. Yamina Pax and Ma Malarvadi, Seema Ma and Kojilki Frek and Melody Wim Verdegal and Ever Al Faru Ma Jnananjali, Nithyananda, to all of you. Nice to see all of you that are here with us. Ma Dominica, great. So take a moment now, come on, write down all the thoughts you are having in your inner space. Let's do it. Okay, time's up. Now I just want each of you to just see what you had written.
Just skim through, just see what we've written down. And actually, those whomsoever have done this activity, I request you all to post, leave a comment saying you did this activity, because this is going to play an important role in your understanding. Okay, Ma Brahmanyana has commented, done. Ma Suzanne has commented. Okay, all the others, those whomsoever have finished. Okay, Ma Divyananda has also done. Okay. Okay, now just revisit your thoughts. Revisit what you've written down. Do you see that the thoughts that we have are completely unrelated, unconnected? It is just, you just don't even know, we're not even conscious about it. That's why Swamiji says that in the modern society, unconscious thinking is the biggest issue that human beings are suffering with. Because we are so unconscious, we do not even know, we do not even have a conscious decision making process where we think something end to end. Many times in the spur of a moment, we decide something and we just do it. And many times, unfortunately, in this spur of a moment, where you just on that momentary run, when you're when that emotion takes over you, you just go ahead and make major decisions in your life,
And
which
these
causes a lot of suffering in you.
exactly, actually, these things that these actually, when you just see your thoughts, like see, like they're totally disconnected, right? This is actually just a glimpse that you are having in your inner space. The thoughts that we carry are actually totally disconnected. Now, to align yourself, first, for you to be able to experience, like, come on, you're experiencing your life through this. It's like so many disconnected things, and you're trying to experience your life, you're trying to understand your life, you're trying to grasp your life. But it's going to be in these bits and pieces of information, and then you're going to put them all together and you're going to come to a conclusion of what you're experiencing actually. If you want to really shift your life and you really want to have the best inner space, you want to experience life the way it is and have the best experience, the first and best thing that you can do right now is start listening. Understand, when I say the word, you might think, yeah, I'm listening. Come on, if I hadn't listened, how would I have done this? I'm not talking about listening as how we normally understand. Actually, listening and hearing, both of these are completely different. Hearing means sound enters into your ear, creates different emotions, fear, greed, triggers certain emotions, and then leaves your system. Whereas listening is when sound enters inside your ear and just becomes a part of you, where there are no separate emotions or anything that's getting triggered inside of you. See, our human system, they just take it like a binary code. When you're listening, you're listening, cognizing, listening, cognizing, listening, cognizing. That's like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Now, when an incompletion comes in, incompletions mean the hangover from past. Like right now, you're sitting and I'm talking about something, and suddenly the smell from your kitchen reaches your nose. And then you start thinking about that holiday time when you were sitting with your friends and having dinner, and you loved that food that you were eating. And suddenly your mind jumps to, oh, that dog that was there. And then you remember your favorite movie that you watched. And then from there, you go to your childhood. And then you go off to your math teacher. See where all your mind has already jumped. You're physically here, but mentally you're not here. So you are not experiencing life to its fullest. You are not actually receiving what life is gifting to you right now. If you want to experience anything in your life, the first thing you need to start having is listening. Life starts with listening. And understand, the listening that we carry. See, right now, you know how our inner spaces, it's like 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 1 0 0 0 1. This is the way how our binary code is right now. Meaning, you just have listening for some time, then sound keeps entering, but cognizing is not happening because you're mentally not here. The thing that can affect your listening is what is this? Incompletions. Everything that we cognize in our life is from the cognitions that we carry. Understand, all words stem from a deep process of gathering the information from your five senses, internalizing them, and responding to it. This process is the cognition that exists, and it is unique to every human being. And the space, what we call as silence, when you have the silence inside of you, like you can say the zero space in you, if you take our inner space like the binary system, the zero space in you is the zone of silence, and the one space is a zone of cognition. When you were born, you were in the pure zone of silence, a total zero space. And as you grew, language developed in you, you began acquiring the one space, meaning the space of cognition started in you. So initially, you would have had long 0 0 0 0 0 followed by a short, again followed by a long 0 0 0 0. But as language continued, as you started strengthening language more and more inside of you, you began falling more and more into the space of one. So more and more language happened. The more you started to grasp information from outside, internalize, process, along with the language, the ability to understand, the ability to feel, the ability to respond, all of these started developing. So with language, the cognition also started growing. So the ordinary listening, which can be called more like hearing, is an outcome of the space of less or no zero and a complete one happening in you. Meaning, when you are jumping from one moment of time to another, to another, to another, one cognition to another, without coming to that space of silence.
And now, somewhere down the lane, we have completely lost this ability to come to that space of silence. We have lost the ability to listen authentically to others. How many of you have encountered this? We have our Jagaranyananda who has joined us. We have our Jnana Pradayini Ananda who has joined us. And we have a lot of you who are watching us live at this moment. I just want to ask you all, how many of you are even in tune with life? How many of us have this right listening? How many of us even listen? Let's say your colleague is walking up to you and you see a certain emotion in his face. You already have a whole conversation that happens in you of what he could probably say, or maybe he's upset with my latest project and maybe he feels his is better. So let me be ready, but this is my response. We already prepare a script, a scene, a narrative, everything inside of us, even before we talk to someone. Then where is listening then? Is authentic listening even happening to us? It is important for us to provide our listening, because authentic listening is only key to transform reality.
Please understand, the listening makes you internalize the truths immediately. The involvement you show in your listening makes these concepts, truths, as an immediate perception, which leads to cognitive shift. See, if you are intense in your listening, it becomes your perception, the powerful visualization. It can become your perception. The powerful visualizations my words can generate in you can become your perception immediately. It can lead to cognitive shift, means experiencing the great truths. It starts with authentic listening. With authentic listening, the words I utter creates a complete visualization in you. The complete visualization can lead to the highest perception, which makes the cognitive shift as a simple reality in you.
All of us have this great opportunity, just like how Swamiji revealed now, just allowing Swamiji's words to enter inside you can completely transform your inner space. And listening, actually, it's like, say, when you have a dirty pond, and you just sprinkle some lime powder, how that just collects all the dirt and takes it to the bottom of the pond. Same way, right now, your inner space is filled with thoughts, incompletions, emotions, and past hangovers, all of these happening inside of you. Just intense listening can completely cleanse the whole thing.
And that is why many times when you hear a certain word, incompletions get triggered in you and you respond in that incompletion. I'm sure every one of us almost here face these similar situations, right? Let's say you're in your workplace, right? And you have your boss who's coming up to you, and all he says is, I think you can make this change in your work, in your project. But you get so offended with us. Many times we get so offended about it. You get incomplete, triggers a certain incompletion in you. And then you come to the conclusion, oh, maybe he doesn't like my work. He doesn't like to acknowledge me. He doesn't appreciate my efforts. So there's no point of working. Better let me just not give my best to this at all. We arrive to drastic conclusions many number of times. And so beautifully Swamiji says, this temporary incompletions makes you do permanently life-damaging decisions. So listening plays a very important key. And when each of us are carrying an inner space that is filled with so much of hangovers of the past, it is very easy that just one word, not even a word, sometimes just a look, sometimes just seeing someone can trigger certain incompletions in you. There's a very nice example that I can give for this. Let's say when you are 10, you went to beach for a walk, and there you see a few people attacking one person. Now, let's say that person, you see someone stealing a person's purse or money and running away. Now you've literally seen a robbery or something happen in front of you. You see someone's items are being snatched away in front of you. Now, whenever you go to beach, After that, you may never go to beach. But even if you do, every time you see the beach, you will only remember this painful memory in you. And even when you listen, let's say someone talks about a beach, you lose your listening to what the other person is saying, but you only this incompletion gets triggered in your inner space. Let's say even if someone is sharing about a very nice experience that they've had in beach, but the experience or the emotion that it will trigger in you will only be this fear and pain. That is why we can never provide authentic listening outside as long as our inner space is filled with these incompletions. And we constantly interact in our day-to-day life with these incompletions.
Actually, how many of you are able to relate with this? How many of you are able to see that there have been situations where just by the ideas, these past hangovers that are sitting inside of you, they trigger you so much and make you miss life? Meaning, like as she was explaining, many a times you are actually you're listening to it, and suddenly you see that certain words are reminding you of something from your past, and you just get associated with that, and that triggers an incompletion inside of you, and you just go off in that trap. Actually, many times we even end up in conflicts because of this kind of lack of listening that we carry. We get triggered by the words. It might be a simple word. Let's say you have a very bad childhood experience, and I'll give you a best example. Like, let's say you went in an auto and you had an accident. This actually had happened to me when I was very young, and I went in an auto and I had an accident. And from that time on, I was so afraid to go into an auto. And the next time, a few weeks later, after that accident happened, I recovered. And one of my friends, she told me, okay, come, let's go in auto. That's all she told me. But something triggered that fear from my past, triggered me so much. I just felt so incomplete in that situation. I had no idea why I felt that way at that time. But later, when after I met Swamiji, then I understood, yes, this is how incompletions react in us. We miss out on what other person is even saying. We don't actually listen to what that person is saying. We would have already come to a conclusion. How many of you have seen something like this happen to you? Where, like, you have listened to, like, you're having a conversation with someone, and that person is uttering a word, but because of some other past incompletion getting triggered inside of you, like, you actually end up in a conflict or you end up in a misunderstanding. The other person would have not even uttered that. That person is not even saying what you're thinking they are saying. But because of the past experience that you've had, you already came to a conclusion, chalo, this is what this person is going to say. I know for sure. And you already are in completion of that person and telling, look, I thought you're such a nice friend to me, but look how you're behaving to me. Okay, Ma Divyananda has posted, yes, we are not experiencing the world as it is, but the way we are cognized similar incidents in the past. Incorrect cognitions repeating themselves, then basing our decisions on that. Absolutely. Like, you go on, everything that we carry, the kind of cognitions that we carry, the way we see things. See, when you're a child, you're not afraid of your failures because you do not have that as a burden on you by any pains or anything associated with it. If you had that when you were young, you would have not been walking today. A child falls down so many times before he learns to start walking. When you were a child, if you have had those pains sitting as a suffering inside of you, associated with certain emotions and incompletions, you would have given up saying, look, I've already felt 10 times. I don't think walking is possible for me. This is the same logic we applied nowadays, unfortunately, in every situation. You give up on yourself. You give up saying, this is not possible for me. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. Because look, I have a track record. Look, I have failed in this, failed in that. So I won't be able to do this. Definitely, even this is also impossible. This is how we currently treat our life. But when you were growing up, when you were a child, if you had used the same logic, today you would have not started walking. Understand, it's very important for us to understand how the words and the incompletions associated with it that are sitting in our inner space affect our day-to-day life. It's very important for us to understand this. And when we actually are in the space where we are sitting and receiving the darshan of Swamiji and listening to Swamiji, that's when a miracle happens to us, where Swamiji's words enter inside our system and completely transform our inner space, transforming the very quality of our life because of that. Understand? Hearing and incompletions getting triggered and getting lost in those incompletions. That is how our default hearing is. So whenever Swamiji says in Satsang, listen, Swamiji is not telling you to be in hearing, but actually to be in listening. Just sit, listen, and internalize every single thing.
And how do you get to that listening? What do you need to do to get to that right listening in you? Because even in the Nithyananda Satsang, when we are listening to Swamiji, through the Nithyananda Satsang, it is very important that we have the right listening. But what's this right listening? And how can one get to that right listening?
स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दं कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे स्वभावचिन्मयानन्द.
The other day I had the question which I did not answer. I think the question related to yesterday's discourse. Today morning I received by email. One person says, Swamiji, the same word which you uttered in the discourse, the awakening of the non-mechanical parts of the brain leads to bliss. Same word J. Krishnamurti is using, and he is saying it leads to tremendous pain. How to reconcile, Swamiji? What is the meaning? It seems he is also using the exact word in some of his book. He did not mention which book, otherwise I would have brought the reference. He just said somewhere he also uses the same word, the awakening of the non-mechanical parts of the brain leads to pain. Understand this one example, very important example. Neither J. Krishnamurti is wrong, nor I am wrong. Understand this one example. If you take a gold coin and slowly start dipping inside the mercury, gold will dissolve into the mercury. The quality of gold and mercury is, the gold will dissolve into mercury. Slowly, if you dip the gold coin, it will start dissolving into the mercury. And there will be one small part of the gold coin which you will be holding, you will be touching. That part will not melt naturally because you are touching. All other parts will become parts of the mercury. When he says that awakening of the non-mechanical parts of the brain is a pain, he is talking from the side of the gold coin. For gold coin, dissolving is pain. I am talking from the angle of the mercury. Because I am getting expanded, I say it is bliss. Because he is getting dissolved, he says it is pain. Maybe you would have made the statement from the angle of the gold coin. But actually, when the whole thing has disappeared, when the gold coin has disappeared, because in me the gold coin has disappeared into the mercury, I am talking from Mercury's side. For Mercury it is a bliss and expansion and income. For gold coin it is an expenditure and it is dissolving and reducing. That is why both may be using the same word, but I am saying it is an intense bliss and he is saying it is an intense pain. Here you need to understand one thing. Whether his disciples or my disciples, whoever is listening with the non-portable mood, means listening to the words with the sanctity associated to the Master's words, both of them will be helped. One danger, if some of his disciples or some of my disciples who are listening, if they are doing the job of porting, then both will miss. Both are talking from two different points, but you don't have to bother about it. One thing, you may ask, how can a disciple who listens to the Master, who is talking it is an intense pain, will be helped? Because whenever pain comes to your life, you will have the courage. Yes, already Master told me. Let me have the courage to get into it. Let me not escape from it. If you are intensely listening to J. Krishnamurti without the mind of the porting or doing your process, you will reach and you will enter. If you are intensely listening to my words, when I say it is an intense ecstasy, you will have the desire and enter. Both ways, if it was done, if it was heard with the sanctity associated to the Master's words, the job or the work will be done. But both persons, if it was not done with the sanctity, if you are not heard, if you are not hearing, adding the sanctity to the Master's words, you will miss. When J. Krishnamurti says, right listening, he means this only. That is what he means. He says, right listening is God. When you have that right listening, doing that listening with the sanctity associated to the Master's words, if you are listening and doing the job of the porting and mixing, coming up with your own logical conclusions, you are missing. You are not listening in a right way, in the right direction, with the right energy. Here, this technique is a technique to give you the right attitude, intensity. Actually, if you are in high, intense energy, you will have automatically the right listening. You will be just waiting to catch one glimpse. You will be just waiting to imbibe. You will be just waiting to listen. That is why Masters are speaking again and again and again for years over years. Understand? I started speaking only 4.5 years ago. Buddha spoke for 40 years. 40 years, exactly 43 maybe. 43 years. But the message is same. Message is same. His first sermon and the last sermon is almost same. Message is same. Then you may think, why thousands of disciples sat every day and heard the same thing again and again and again, because you hear and it clicks only when you are in high intense energy. Only with the intensity it clicks. You just catch and the awakening happens. Again and again, disciples are requested to listen, recommended to hear the master, so that they will stop doing that job of porting. And the authenticity to listening, the authenticity to the imbibing will start happening.
Listening. How many of us even listen to our life, to what life is talking to us continuously? Many times, life tells something, we hear something else totally different. Because right listening is not there in our inner space. We are almost always pre-prepared with a script of what to talk and what to respond. We have a template for what is called default answers for everything. Whether someone tells something that I don't like, then I need to react this way. If someone tells something that I really enjoy, then I need to react this way. We have preset reactions ready. It's like as you scroll on Facebook, you have reactions ready. You know, you have an option whether you have to like, share, or whether you have to give a heart, or whether you have to give a hug. You have different options. That's already preset. Same way we use a same set of template responses to life because we already have our script ready in our mind. We don't, Swamiji tells, when it's a funny quote that Swamiji tells, when a husband and a wife get married, like when a couple get married, it is, and they move into a house, that house does not have two people, it has four people. It has the husband and husband's imagination of the wife, it has a wife and the wife's imagination of the husband. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality for almost all of us today. Each of us have our imaginary, the perception that we create and our imaginary reactions and responses, and we are so busy dealing and talking to our incompletions rather than actually the person. So what happens? Many of the times we miss what life has to tell us. Here's a joke that it reminds me about. So once Jill tells her husband Jack that she says, Jack, that young couple that just moved in next door seem extremely loving towards each other. Every morning when he leaves the house, he kisses her goodbye. And every evening when he comes home, he brings her a dozen roses. Now, why can't you do that? Jack says, Gosh, why? I hardly know that girl. This is how all of us interact with life. Life tells something, we understand something totally different. We are stuck in our own world of understanding perceptions, and this is what Swamiji calls as hearing.
Understand, this affects us even the way we interact, the way we talk to people, the way we carry our relationships in life. The moment you start talking to somebody, when you don't have listening, you start coming to your own conclusions, either by rejecting that person or taking that person as a big threat unnecessarily. And both will lead you to suffering. If you take some joker as a villain, you'll be suffering unnecessarily. If you take villain as a joker, you're neglecting the great problems and big sufferings that are going to come. To gauge a villain as a villain, a comedian as a comedian, first thing you need is listening. Understand, it's very important to see the guy who's there in front of you, in front of your life, whether he's going to be a comedian or a villain or your friend. Just because it's a close person's opinion, that alone does not mean it's 100% proof. Understand, everything you need to have listening to it. Comedians are different, villains are different, heroes are different. But all of it you will be able to gauge in your life only when you have listening to it. Listening is a survival need. If you just have listening towards your mind, it cannot cause any more suffering to you. Your mind is also one of the closest attendants that you have. Because of your confidence over that guy tries to give you all false information, exploit you. And it is continuously happening to you. But you just need to start with having listening. Actually, Swamiji gives a very powerful technique. Swamiji says, we are so busy in our lives. So just few simple techniques if we follow also, it'll really transform the way our life is. Whenever you have a suffering thought, or panic attack, just listen to your heart. Whenever you're confronting something, listen to your heart. Listen to your blood flow. Listen to your liver. It will really help you. You will really learn listening. Understand, listening is so powerful. It can transform your very life. And when listening comes with Guru Bhakti, you will be living life of miracles. And this listening can just change the way. I'm actually reminded of an incident that happened when I was in Gurukul. So I studied in the Nithyananda Gurukul. I'm graduated from the Nithyananda Gurukul. And in Gurukul, our lifestyle is just filled with miracles every single day. For us, like life itself, like every moment is power manifestation. It's not that we spend a separate time on it. It's like your very lifestyle is that. I think this happened in the year 2015 or 16. So every time when we do the homa, it's like the fire offering, we do every day Rudra Homa. And every day, Swamiji had told that the way you can measure whether the Rudra Homa you perform is authentic or not is if the cosmos showers, meaning physically it has to rain. Only then you have offered the Rudra Homa authentically. This was the scale at how we used to measure whether we are performing the rituals authentically or not. So every day, just around the temple, the radius of the temple alone, we used to be having rain every night. Every evening we do Rudra Homa, and by night time, just slight drizzle will come, or like it'll be a heavy rain. Either of these two has to come. Every day this was happening without fail. And a kid who was performing this, so we all take turns and do. And 3-4 days, it was one kid one Balasan who was to go and do the Rudra Homa. And he had some incompletion in him. And that day, it did not rain. All of us were shocked. Next day, he goes and performs the Rudra Homa. That day also, it did not rain. And then all of us were discussing as to why is this happening? We realized how, actually, I just wanted to also highlight the age group of all of us at that time. Because right now, when I just remember it back, I just feel like, wow, what a golden childhood Swamiji had given to us. Because we were all just teenagers, 14 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. That kid at that time, he was just, I think, 13 or 14 years old. And we were having the discussion at that time. And so he was like, I'm not sure. I had this incompletion, but I completed with it. Then we were all discussing, saying, okay, if this is manifesting, it is not just because of this kid alone. It is a collective responsibility. It's a collective thing. So it's somewhere all of us are manifesting. Then all of us collectively felt that there is some non-listening happening in our inner space, which is why our prayers are not being heard in the cosmos. So all of us as a group decided, we sat for an entire day in complete listening. Listening means we used to sit in Vajrasana, keeping our hands in Samana Mudra, just closing our eyes and just listening. We cannot sleep. You will not feel sleepy. See, when you are trying to sitting with ourselves nowadays, that's the most difficult thing. But when we are sitting in the space of listening, especially given the lifestyle of Gurukul and the space that Swamiji had given to us, sitting in the space of listening was very easy. We just sat, all of us, hundreds of us, all the kids from different age groups, everyone just gathered in the meditation hall. All of us just sat in the space of listening. We all decided collectively, we are not going to move from here till the cosmos showers. The space was so strong. The moment we all decided, it was around, I think, yeah, we started in the morning and we decided that we are not going to move. And evening time came where the Rudra Homa is going to be performed. The same kid, he itself went to perform the Rudra Homa. When he did the Rudra Homa, and from the space that was there, the whole area was showered heavily. Swamiji was so happy. And not just this, that day near the deities, we have a beautiful temple in Adi Kailash. You all might have even seen, you might have even visited the temple. The deities started materializing kumkum. Swamiji was so happy when Swamiji listened to this incident. Listening is so powerful. It can shake the cosmos. That's the first time I actually got the confidence that if I just listen, sit in the space of listening and will something, cosmos has to listen. Understand, the entire place was just showered. And suddenly, there's a beautiful, like lots of miracles started happening. Just that 1 week was so powerful, just by sitting in that space of listening. And from that day on, we all made a decision every day, at least for 10 to 12 hours. We all, like in Gurukul, it used to be a time where we used to call it a 6 to 6 period. Like from 6 p.m. onwards, we used to decide that all of us are going to be in the space of listening. We will not actually talk. Till next day, puja, we will not be talking. That space is so powerful. And anything that we will, like we create a space as an intention, it used to immediately manifest. Even now, each of us have that possibility. See, you might have been exposed to any kind of sounds, any kind of words, anything. But don't worry, because right now you are here in the best space and time, because you are going to be sitting in the space of the avatar where you are going to transform your inner space. All you need is just one thing: listen.
And you know how that can happen? Just by you simply making yourself available in the satsang. When you just sit in the satsang, Swamiji is not just talking to you, like, Swamiji is not just, it's not just words that Swamiji is saying. It's not a mere listening. I mean, it's not just merely you hearing what Swamiji is saying. It is an intense listening from your being. Swamiji says he talks to each of our being, and that is why every word becomes an initiation. Just by listening to the Nithyananda Satsang, you can awaken the extraordinary powers in.
Time, the original Sanskrit word is Kala, understand? See, the Akashic records, the original knowledge of the KAILASA is a principle. When that comes down into Sanskrit, it becomes concept. And when I translate that Sanskrit to English, it becomes long sentences. So, I request all of you to have little patience and listen. even this internet buffering, all these are just to get your attention completely. I have always seen, if I am talking loud, you get distracted. If I am talking very slow and internet is getting flickered, your whole attention gets concentrated. So I feel even this internet little flickering is Kalabhairava's strategy to make you all listen attentively. So please listen attentively. Cosmic principles, Akashic records, those principles, when they get downloaded in Sanskrit language, they become concepts. From Sanskrit language, when I translate that into English, it becomes long sentences. So please listen. Even listening will awaken your Kundalini Shakti and you will become enlightened. Kala is the dimension of the universe. In this dimension of existence, matter becomes energy. Energy becomes matter. Matter and antimatter nullifies each other and again becomes energy. All this happens just by will, without any effort. In this space of Kala, universes, multiverses, big bangs, black holes, planets, suns, moons, stars appear, exists for zillions of years, yugas, and dissolve simultaneously, spontaneously, without time gap chronologically. In now, now, now. Please zoom out and meditate on this.
Every time in the Nithyananda Satsang, when you are listening to the revelations that Swamiji is giving, this is the exact process that happens in you. And do you know the power of your listening that can simply develop these extraordinary intelligence in you, awaken you to your highest potential? Listening awakens your Kundalini Shakti. It enlightens us. Because just through the right listening, the authentic listening, you will be able to make anything that you listen to as a reality in front of you. The moment, actually, what happens to most of us, like we were sharing earlier, is the moment you start talking to somebody, when you do not have the listening, right, you start coming down to your own conclusions. It can happen either by rejecting that person or taking that person as a big threat. These are the two possibilities with which we constantly react to our life without listening. But both only leads you to suffering. And it is very important for you to understand that what reality is in front of you. If you just have the listening, your mind cannot cause any more suffering to you, because Swamiji says delusion is your non-listening to life. Non-listening leads us to delusion. Non-listening to life leads us to constantly living in confusion and chaos. So, how can we get to the space of pure listening? How is it practically possible to be in listening, you may ask? Each time when we are so busy with our daily lives, we just need to do few tips, few things to tune ourselves into the listening. Like she had mentioned, listening to your heart whenever you have suffering, a thought of suffering, a panic attack, fear, anxiety. Whenever you're confronting something, listen to your heart, listen to your blood flow, listen to what your liver has to say. It will really help you. Because if there's one thing that all of us are completely disconnected with in this modern world, it's ourselves. We spend all day working, you wake up in the morning, you run around to please your family members, you want to let them know that you love them, you care for them. Then you go to work, you want to let people know that you work and you care for the company, you care for whatever your project is, you care for your commitments. And then you spend your time trying to get money so that you can take care of your family. Then you spend some time trying to meet with your friends and let them know that you care for them. You need them. Throughout our day, 365 days a year, we keep running in this rut. And if there's one thing that we barely listen to, is ourselves. That is why Swamiji says, spend time in listening to yourself. Because only if you listen to yourself, you can listen to life. Otherwise, you are constantly putting life in a mold from your incompletions, which is what is called as Maya. And once in a while, Swamiji gives this very powerful technique. He says, sit with a tree, with a river, some water body or some nature. Connect with it. It can be anything. It can be even like some river, a pond. It can be anything. Now, whenever you sit in front of the nature, it may look a little funny, but you listen, you will start developing so much of listening. These are the two techniques that Swamiji gives. It is only with listening you will be able to experience, interact, or engage with life. It's only with listening life starts. So, how do we get to the state of listening?
Please understand, you are conditioned not to listen. First thing you need to get is you never listen. Listening begins in you. When you first get, you don't listen. You get listening when you understand, you don't listen. You will be able to listen only when there is nothing that stands between you and the speaker, you and the master. That means you cannot have any other thought in your head at the point when you are listening. When you have to be established in the zone of pure listening. After you listen, then you can move to the zone of one, cognition. You will not be able to be in pure listening because you are already preoccupied with incomplete moments of the past sitting inside you in the present. If there are too many dead bodies in the house, you cannot be staying there. If there are too many incompletions in your space, you cannot sit there and listen. And when you begin completing with your past, your ability to be in pure listening exponentially goes up. We will work on a lot of powerful methods that will establish you in the state of completion, increasing the state of listening in you. Along with those techniques, continuously take on only this one spiritual practice of listening. You will be able to do it when you practice with conscious awareness. You will be able to distinguish between the zone of listening and the zone of cognition and keep yourself totally connected to listening while listening and cognition and while cognizing. Constantly remind yourself to practice this and to be in state of listening. Understand?
And understand this listening that we are going to be having right now. I'm actually very, very excited. Lots of you have joined us in the live stream. Nithyananda to all of you. Juanita Cabrera, Nithyananda, Martina, and Juan Robles and Maya Whitmajer, Aisha Carter, Radharani, Devika Rani, Nithyanandam, Sandhya Gate, and Zlantika Suteva, Jagarinyananda, Susan Davidson, Jnanapradaini, Nithyanandam to all of you. Very, very soon we are going to be having the live Satsang of Swamiji. And today that we are all going to be receiving this extraordinary and I should say very, very special one, because I know for sure this is something that all of us have been waiting for, to have Swamiji's darshan and to listen to Swamiji's revelations. And even we are as curious, as eager as each and every one of you to know what Swamiji is going to be revealing to us. And I'm sure it's going to be a blast today, because every time Swamiji comes, he brings so many gifts for us from Kailasa, some phenomenal revelations and some extraordinary initiations, and something that will just, I don't know, like, that will just take it to the next level each time. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. So let's all get ready. There are a lot of you that are tuning in. So we'd like to welcome every one of you back to the stream again. And also all the viewers that are there on Facebook, Ma Nasra Al Ansari and Ma Maluhia, Bryce, Hatha Yoga, and Ma Sarlananda. Many of you, Ma Anuradha, Nithyanandam to all of you. So we were just learning about why the space of listening is so important. Now, before we have some more very, very interesting things to share with you. So before we enter into that, I request all of you, just take a moment now. Share this video with your friends. Choose any of your friends. Actually, I would recommend you to share with all of your friends. Who knows? This might be a video through which they are going to become connected to Swamiji forever in their life. This might be the video that they're really, really looking for, because very shortly we are going to be having the live Satsang of Swamiji. So please take a moment. Yes, Nithyananda, Ma Karima Mariova, and Ma Kshipra Prasad Nikananda. Nice to have all of you here. Now, how many of you, like as soon as you share this video with your friends, can you all post here how many people you were able to enrich with this video? Just take a moment now. It's just a click away. You have the share button that is projected to you on your screen. Take a moment, just click the share button, and you can choose your WhatsApp or Facebook or share it in all the social media platforms. And post here how many people you were able to share. And if you have some questions or doubts, feel free to ask us here. Wow, it's so nice. Lots of you and lots of love. Thank you so much for everyone that is tuning in. I know all of us are eagerly waiting for having the darshan of Swamiji. We're going to be sharing with you more about why the space of listening is so important and what it can do to you, and how listening to this sacred revelations can completely transform you, like literally like an alchemy process. So please take a few minutes, quickly share this with your friends and family, and let us know in the comment section how many people you were able to share this video with. Okay, Kira Ra has shared, and Rajendra Parthiban has shared. That's wonderful. Actually, please remember that every time you take the step to share, right, you are reaching out this gift to your near and dear ones. And this is the best step that you can take, that to show that you genuinely care for them, because you never know what another person is waiting for. Your one share can make a huge difference in their life. Imagine your friend, you do not know what they would be going through at this time, at this point in their lives. And you taking this one step to reach out this truth to them opens a door of phenomenal possibility to them. So take a moment, come on, who all have shared? Who else has shared? Please let us know in the comment section.
I see more and more viewers that are joining. That's great to see. But please let us know how many of you have shared. Okay, Ma Karima has shared. Who else has shared? Please let us know. You can also post.
Alexandra, Mark Holman, and Martina, and Aisha Carter. I request every one of you to please share, and you can let us know if you've shared.
So now let's continue to understand about why this listening is so important and how it can completely transform your life. See, your inability to listen will make anything in life a suffering. Even milk will become poison. Your ability to listen will make even poison into milk. If you have listening and the idea starts in your throat, please understand, listening is the source where ideas are happening. And that space, listening where when your all the ideas, everything that's coming out is coming from the space of deep listening, that is the space of intelligence. Understand? Just bring listening to you. Bring listening to the conflicts you're going through. You will be able to find solutions. Whenever you get listening, you will suddenly see you will become your own best friend. See, the problem is we all go on preparing even for a simple conversation. We go on preparing the arguments. How many of you have found yourself like probably when you're just with yourself, probably when you're showering or you're eating or maybe when you're dressing up, all this while whenever you're with yourself, you'll be actually preparing for your arguments. What can I tell my spouse next time? And correctly counter his arguments. Or he'll tell like this, and this is what I'm going to tell.
Actually, this reminds me of a joke. A man goes to his friend and says, I haven't spoken to my wife in 18 months. The friend concerned asks, why not? The man says, I don't like to interrupt her. All our non-listening, all the conversations that happens in our lives from this non-listening is only a monologue, not a dialogue. There is no conversation with the other because we are always talking. We see a particular situation, we give a reaction, we react to our reaction, we respond to our reaction, we continue to react only to our reaction. As long as we respond to life from a triggered incompletion, it is only reaction. It is never listening. And Swamiji says beautifully, only with listening you can give a response in life. Otherwise, it is only a monologue. It is never a dialogue.
Actually, all of you that are here gathered, I know we are all just excitedly waiting to listen to Swamiji Satsang, to have the darshan of Swamiji, right? How many of you want these powerful cognitions? You just want to really live that life, how Swamiji describes our whole lifestyle, being powers, manifesting these great truths as our lifestyle. Did you know that just listening can make that possible? Listening can make the cosmic truths as a part of it. How? Let's listen to a very small excerpt from Swamiji Satsang that Swamiji reveals.
The higher frequency truths. Listen. The higher frequency truths, even by simple listening, gets into your deeper consciousness and starts growing in your inner space. Even without your conscious support, if you support consciously, it grows like multi-fold in extreme high speed. Understand intensely. listen deeply, higher truths expressed not only has linguistic importance that you need to internalize, understand, it has even phonetic importance. Means even by listening, lot is digested inside you. And if you consciously cherish and support, just like that, you become enlightened. Please understand, I am working with every one of you individually, not only to make you all enlightened, make you all be a space for Paramashiva to land and manifest. When the great truths are revealed and uttered, even sitting and listening can do so much inside you.
Is that, sorry, and the best news that we have now is that these higher truths, the greatest cosmic truths, we are going to be directly receiving from the Avatar himself. And all that we need to enjoy these great truths is just a little bit of listening inside our inner space.
And don't worry, no matter what thoughts runs in your inner space, no matter what amount of stress, whatever could have happened to you through the day. But when you sit in the presence of the avatar, that is powerful enough to change whatever reality is in front of you. Swamiji says every word that Swamiji utters is like an initiation. It straight gets into our inner space and gets embedded there. And understand, every time, every word that hits your inner space generates reality. Whether it is good words or bad words, when they hit the space, they become reality. Whatever makes the word into real is space. And understand, when extreme, supremely life positive and powerful words of Swamiji's hit your inner space, when you have the listening, and when you sit with that complete openness and receptivity, that becomes your reality. That is why sitting in Nithyananda Satsang, whether you understand or not, even sometimes you may not understand English, but if you just sit in Swamiji's presence, that will still make a phenomenal difference to you. That is the power of listening.
Yes, and I just want all of you to do a very quick thing. Can you all clap with both your hands? When you take your two hands, what's generated? Song, correct? Same formula. Your thought, and this is your space. When a thought or a word hits the space, reality is generated. This words that we carry so powerful, like as I mentioned earlier, it's like it's the programming done for your reality. Is these words, some words, the words that you're listening to. Probably you are only thinking you're just watching some videos and you're going on scrolling on your social media feed. But suddenly you see that these words, suddenly, like let's say you are in a serious situation, or a situation like some big decision you need to make in your life, all these words that you have heard are only going to be coming. So the words that you carry is so important, and not just that, the words that you carry inside are actually generating the very reality you're having. So if you really want to transform the very reality, best thing that you can do, the very first step you can do, is just listen to the senses. It's so powerful. How many of you here have been listening to Swamiji Satsang? I know for so many years now. How many of you are here like that? I know I see almost all of you that are there in the comment section. I know all of you have even attended the programs of Swamiji. I just want all of you to share. How has your experience been When you just come and sit for the satsang, where you got to do nothing, you just need to come and sit, come with even all your problems, worries, prayers, just come and sit. But Swamiji addresses all of them, solves them for you, and miraculously transforms your entire life. How many of you have had this as an experience? Just take a moment. I want all of you to share in few words. Share with us, how has your experience been whenever you come and sit in the satsang? Okay, Maisha Carter is saying it has been very positive. That's great. I request each of you to share like how you are just coming here and you are only sitting here to listen to the satsang, and Swamiji does the miracles for you. Okay, I see many of you commenting. Anuradha Rajashekharan is saying bliss, okay, and Ma Aisha Katir is saying calming and motivating. Wonderful. What else? What else has been your experience? Okay, I see a question.
It's from Kirara Terpishar, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. So you have commented saying, I do listen, but others do not listen to me. I have a great negative karma due to events, and this clogs up their ears. People will not listen to me, even when I speak obvious truth. Okay, I'd like to answer this to you with the example that we all visited some time back. The example of, I'll repeat it again for you. So imagine you're walking in a beach and you see a theft or robbery happening in front of your eyes. You see, you're a 10-year-old kid walking in the beach. You see a group of men come and steal someone's money and purse, a wallet, and they run away. And you see that this leaves a huge impact in you. You see a robbery for the first time in front of your life. Someone is getting robbed at gunpoint. And this leaves a huge scar in you, a huge impact in you. 10 years passes, 20 years passes, 30 years passes, and even after 30, 40 years, even if someone talks about beach, let alone you going to a beach, even if someone talks about beach, only this incident in you gets triggered again and again. So no matter how many places you change, how many different people you try to talk about, but as long as you carry that impact or the hangover of that incident in your inner space, you will never be able to listen to anyone as is or what they're talking. Same way, I'd like to address this point that you've commented here. As long as you carry this cognition, this exact cognition that you've expressed is what Swamiji calls as incompletion. The perception, as long as you carry this incompletion or perception in front of you, you will only keep reflecting that, even if someone genuinely listens to you, because you already have a filter that people are not listening to you, you will only see that as a reality. And that is why listening is so important. The more you listen, the more you get to the space of completion.
And I just wanted to add to it, Kirara, just try this one. Just whenever someone is not listening to you, just look inside you. Where is the non-listening there in you? Just try this. It really works like a magic, because every time when you don't listen to yourself, then you don't speak into the listening of others. When you just align yourself, just start learning to listen to you and start speaking into your listening, you'll suddenly see that even the other people are listening to you. Now, and if you want to transform this reality of yours, first step you can take is just come and start listening to the satsang, and you will just see the transformation happens on its. I'm having overwhelming response in the comments. The comments are getting flooded. I can see so many of you on Facebook that have just commented saying your experience about satsang. That's really wonderful. I'm just going to read out a few.
Mom, Marwa has commented. Just a minute. I think there are a lot of comments coming in, so it's just flooding up. Just going to go through. Yes, Marwa has commented saying blissful, and it's blissful hearing more than just listening to what Swamiji is saying. It's just blissful to see Swamiji. Yes, absolutely. I think almost every one of us will just agree to it, because every one of us are waiting to just see Swamiji more than listening. And of course, every truth that Swamiji tells naturally enters directly into our being. And Bryce Henderson has commented that Swamiji has spread light on all issues I have faced in my life. And by simply listening, he has elevated my consciousness without a doubt. Absolutely. Every time we listen to Swamiji, if you feel that, oh my God, Swamiji is just speaking to me, remember there are 1,000 others who are feeling the exact same thing, and still Swamiji is speaking exclusively to each and every one of us.
And One Wins Rose has commented, sitting in Satsang with Swamiji is like being in another dimension with him. My whole being is relaxed and in a sweet, sweet, sweet state of bliss. Rajendra Pativan has posted, I have many instances where I just pray Swamiji and wish happen. I want the same to happen today. I'm waiting for a positive outcome for an interview I attended 2 weeks ago. Please bless me with this, Swamiji. Just sit in this intention, as you have already experienced. Swamiji makes this happen for us. And Bryce Henderson is saying, if we speak to others with a meditative quality, the more they will listen. Yes, if you speak from the space of listening, definitely you'll have listening. I see more and more comments that are coming in. Mahasi Professor Anika has posted very blissful samadhi, and Ma Jnanesha has posted, I always feel victorious at a satsang. Ma Tatiana has posted high frequency and very uplifting. Susan Davidson has posted, just feel peaceful and calm.
And Ma Karima Maria has posted that experience powerful healings, very intense during Swamiji's satsangs and darshan. Absolutely. And Ma Madeline Portuguese has posted, I feel intense blissful energy when listening to Swamiji satsangs. I know for sure, because every word is power packed. It hits you exactly in the target and does all wonders in your inner space and changes the reality outside of you. And as all of us are preparing, I know the thousands of you that are watching us live at this moment through various different social media platforms from around the world. I know every one of us are waiting for that divine audience with Swamiji, and each of you are as eager as me and her to listen, or waiting to see what Swamiji is going to be revealing today. I just wanted to take a few minutes to quickly remind you all of some of the protocols before we enter into the satsang. I see a lot of you on our live stream who are commenting. I know the moment Swamiji comes live, it's an opportunity for us to ask our prayers to Swamiji, to offer our gratitude to Swamiji. And as all of us know, Swamiji himself will be reading the comments, and he'll be blessing and attending to our prayer requests and boons. So I just want to take a few minutes to remind every one of you to please make sure you're putting your original picture as your profile picture. And please make sure you're putting your name, your full name, your legal name as the name on YouTube and Facebook. I see some of you have put different names. Please rename yourself. Put your name. It should be your legal name.
Or it can also be the spiritual name you received from Swamiji. That is also okay.
Yes, but it should be it should be an original name. Please do not put, I am seeing that there's the people who have named yourself as Hinduism, Francias, and different other names like that. So please make sure that you're renaming yourself and put your profile picture. You should be visible in your picture. And I'm sure, I know every one of us are eager, awaiting. Let's just take this few minutes to make sure we are aligning to the protocols to have a blissful and enjoy the experience of the satsang.
And in a few more minutes, we are going to be very, very shortly, very few minutes left, where we are going to be having the live satsang of Swamiji. And just wanted to let everyone know, there will be another stream starting, a new stream starting in the same channel. So once this gets concluded, we request all of you just go back to the same channel and refresh the page so that you do not miss the live stream of Swamiji's satsang, live satsang of Swamiji. So right after this is over, we'll be announcing it to you. So you can just refresh, go back to the channel, refresh, and there will be a new stream that will be coming, and you could log into that.
And to all of you that are commenting how eager you are awaiting to have Swamiji's darshan, Swamiji is making himself available to each and every one of us, be it the sciences that Swamiji is revealing, be it the
very revival of Kailasa that Swamiji has taken on his shoulders to gift us all these phenomenal sciences. Each of you who have commented your experiences on Facebook and YouTube, your experiences are a testimony in itself as to how much individually in our lives Swamiji has transformed us, worked with us, walked us through so many crises, so many different situations in our life, and he's continuously there with us, leading us to the path of enlightenment. And at the same time, taking the responsibility to revive the Hindu nation of Kailasa. And why I'm saying this is every one of you that are commenting, Swamiji is making himself available to us yet again through the Paramashivoham program that is starting on the 14th of April, 21 days with Swamiji. And it's a moment for all of us to cherish. Every one of you that have really missed and that you really want to be a part, or you're here for the first time and you are curious and eager to get this experience, do not miss. Sign up in the link that's projected on the screen and take a minute or two to please sign up. You can be part of Paramashivoham. Do not miss this life-changing opportunity, because this one decision of yours to be part of this 21 days program is going to change the course of your life into something phenomenal, beautiful, straight, leading you to the path of enlightenment. So all of you can take a minute or two. The link is being projected on the screen, and you all can sign up there. You will be able to, the moment you go to that link, you'll be able to sign up there. And you can let us know your intention, and our Kailashans will reach out to you and they'll help you further in your steps for registering with the process.
Kirara, I read your message. Don't worry. See, now if you want to create your life newly, you want to manifest a new reality for you, it's not far away. Your past does not actually matter. I just want to share a small story to you. There was a great saint, and Arunagirinathar. He was before becoming a saint, so he was a womanizer, and he used to all the time be womanizing, drinking, and he was no way even devoted, no nothing, no any moral thing he was following. He was leading his life like this, and once he started having electricity, and because of that, all the women started leaving him, and the situation becomes so like dire for him. And he goes on, he tries to go and be with women, nobody wants to be with him. And seeing the suffering, his sister will say that, okay, you're made a life like this. Now, if nobody wants to come to you, take me. That situation shakes him. He realizes what kind of a life he has led. He decides to give up on his life. He feels like, if this is what I have made my sister tell, I don't want to live this kind of a life. He realizes what kind of a situation he has created for himself. He goes to the Muruga temple. Temple is the tallest structure over there. So he goes to the cliff, and only once he just prays to Subramanya, Muruga, saying, look, this is the kind of life I have lived. I want to complete for this. I just drop whatever this whole sin of what sins I have done in my past and just dropping it at your feet now. He just chants Muruga and jumps off the cliff. Suddenly, he doesn't die. Muruga comes and saves him. He's shocked. At that time, Lord Muruga asks him only one question. From now, what do you want to do? He says, your present decision can transform not just your future, but your entire past. What do you want now? And he asks for the boon just to sing the glory of Muruga, and he becomes a great saint who is remembered even to this day. Understand? Our past, who we might have been, what we have done, all of these
actually don't matter to us if in the present we have the decision and intention to be in a certain way. And that how you want to manifest that reality is really possible given that we have the blessing of the avatar. And Swamiji has revealed signs of how you can not just rewrite your future, but even to rewrite your past. The program called as Paramashivoham is exclusive to 21 days where you will be guided with various different processes where you will also learn the science to rewrite your future. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and sign up in paramashivoham.org and just be here. You are in the right time at the right place because very, very, very shortly we are going to be having the live satsang of Swamiji. So just by you being here today and just by listening to Swamiji, Swamiji can transform the entire life. So let's get ready for that. I hope this answered your question. Now, in just a few more minutes, we are going to be entering into the satsang. We are going to be listening to the satsang. So before that, why should we listen to satsang every day? Let's listen to that about that.
With the grace of Paramashiva Parashakti, Mahakala Bhairava is directly protecting me and the Sangha, all of you. That is why we are still alive, surviving. If I am still alive and if you are still a devotee, it is because of Mahakala Bhairava protecting me and protecting you, protecting all of us. So do not miss listening to the great truths every day. It is not just words, more than words, this intense frequency. Frequency of the satsang does the great alchemy in your inner space. You are protected from the words of ordinary people affecting you. Understand? If you allow abusers and their words affect you, you will fall into their frequency. If you allow my truths and my words inspire and initiate you, you will be in my frequency. That's all. With whose frequency you want to be connected to them and their words. Actually, you all don't even need to listen about what the abusers are talking and what the lies they are spreading. Don't even listen, I am telling you. See, what is the use of you listening? Whoever need to make decisions about it, they are all listening. International community is very clearly listening. Everything is getting documented. All the persecution, attacks on me, assassination attempts, and lawfare. How the lawfare is used, like spreading hate speech, wild lies and hate speech, creating a hostile, negative atmosphere using media, and then filing false cases in the name of investigation, spreading more hatred, lies, and witch hunting. Lawfare is one of the well-known methodology used to eliminate unwanted people in multiple fields. Kala Bhairava is directly protecting me and the Sangha. Because of that spiritual protection, we survive. Still, I am alive and you are all there with me is one. That is spiritual strength. That does not mean the people who are attacking are small or simple people. Attack is not that naive. Attackers are huge conspirators, international conspiracy, international mafia is attacking.
This clip that we just listened to, where Swamiji is talking, despite all the attacks, everything that has happened, Swamiji continues to make himself available to us. Despite all the attacks, everything, it is time that each of us use this opportunity, every one of you that are here, for you to stand up the cause of Kailasa, for you to receive these gifts from Kailasa, despite all of this, Swamiji is continuously coming, making himself available and showering us with these gifts. One simple step that we can do is reach these gifts out to the maximum people that we can. Your near and dear ones, the people you love, that you care about, take a minute or two, share it with them, and let them all receive these extraordinary gifts from Swamiji.
And now it's time. Let's all prepare ourselves to receive the darshan of Swamiji, to listen Swamiji's satsang. Please sit with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. I also just wanted to remind, this stream that you're watching us live right now will be ending shortly. And please refresh, go back to the channel, refresh the channel, and you will be having a live stream of Swamiji's satsang. So let's all enter into a meditative space. Sit with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Deeply and slowly.
Settle into the space of deep listening as all of us are getting ready to receive the extraordinary, amazing gifts that Swamiji is going to be showering us. And every one of you that are eager here, are waiting to catch the glimpse of Swamiji, to have the darshan of Swamiji, the divine audience with the avatar. Let us all get ready. Please settle down in the deep meditative space of gratitude and avoid all distractions.
Start chanting the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Continue to be in the meditative space of awareness. Tune your inner space into listening, into deep gratitude. Every word that Swamiji is uttering is an initiation for us.
In the space of listening. And again, once again, I'm just reminding all of you, please, once a stream